All right, we're here today with director, writer, producer Tom Huckabee, who's just finished up his film Carried Away. Well, not just finished up, but he's getting ready to promote it for the Dallas International Film Festival here in North Texas. And thank you for being with us today. We really appreciate it. And we're sitting somewhere that has significance for you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about where we are.
Well, this is the film studio at Southwest High School, which wasn't here when I went to Southwest High School in the 70s. Maybe I never would have gone to Hollywood if there was something like this. It's really an amazing setup. I understand it's one of the, what do they call that? Not Target, magnet schools.
Really?
Yeah, that I guess magnet schools have special, departments, and they have a special film and TV department here, which is quite impressive.
My high school didn't have anything like this either, so this is amazing. I think definitely getting the exposure out and training students that have an interest in this as early as you can, I think is a really great opportunity. So
absolutely,
it's great. It's awesome to see this here. So, and I'm glad we could do it. Have this interview with you here because this is so great for you. Does it bring back any memories?
Oh, it does. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Memories of ideas or bad ideas,
pimples and things like that.
I didn't like high school, so I pulled up to the parking lot and I was like, oh gosh, all the kids leaving for lunch. But no, but this is great. This aspect of it I think is amazing. And you've been helping us out at Endeavor Cinema Group. You've been doing a screenwriting course and trying to do some more promotional tools like that in this area that I think are great, because I think there's a lot of potential here that people just don't really know where to go to get it out. So it's amazing that you could go do so much, come back, and then share your wealth of knowledge that you have with us.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about Carried Away, because this is kind of the star of the end of March and next month. So tell me about this film.
Well, it's a very personal film that's semi-autobiographical. It's about a young man who kidnaps his grandmother from a nursing home, and his father and brothers chase after them. None of that actually happened. But the family is more or less based on my family, and the relationship between the grandmother and the grandson is very close to my relationship with my grandmother. And she did indeed lose her mind during a surgery on her knees. They fixed her knees and ruined her mind, and we think she probably had a stroke during surgery. But she woke up with serious dementia, which she never recovered from, and we put her in a nursing home, and she didn't adjust to that. She thought she was in prison, and she hated it, and they had to restrain her. Sometimes she would escape. One time got out and blocked traffic for miles, dragging her walker down the freeway behind her.
Wow.
She did that because the doctor told her that she couldn't go anywhere without her walker, but that was just to slow her down because he knew she was an escape risk. So yeah, a very personal project, but at the same time, I've determined from showing it to people that people really, really relate it to their own lives.
So with this project being so personal to you, like you said, it's got a lot of autobiographical aspects in it for you. I'm sure that in the development of it, you knew kind of going in your idea for casting and crew and who all you wanted to work on. It was extremely important to you. You wanted people that are, as focused on this project as you were. So did you take a lot of care when you were casting to look for certain traits or aspects of someone who was interested in being in this film, or how did you go about that process?
Well, first off, what I did was I hired a casting director, Tony Cobb Brock in Dallas, who I'd worked with before on a film called Frailty that starred Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton. It was Bill's directorial debut. I was the executive producer, and my wife was the casting director, and Tony was the location casting director working out of Dallas, who did the search for the boys that were in the film. I also worked with her on a project called Eye for an Eye, a reality courtroom show. And I knew she was good. I knew she knew the talent in town, and she loved the script and insisted that she would be bringing in only the cream of the crop. So great actors. I had already cast my lead because he was a producer on the film, Gabriel Horn, to play myself. And then the big the main issue, of course, was finding the right grandmother. We wouldn't have been able to make the film if we hadn't. We'd made a list of famous elderly female actors, and we're making inquiries out in Hollywood. At the same time, we were seeing local actors. And I had 2 or 3 good choices, but Julie Erickson, who ended up getting the part, when she walked in the door, she shook my hand. The first thing she said was, "I don't mind nudity." And
this is the woman for me.
She had read in the script that there was a moment when Granny's taking a shower and drops her towel in front of her grandson. And the grandson asks her if she wouldn't mind, you know, putting the towel back on, covering up. And so the other actors who'd come in from the part were concerned about that part. They were asking me how I was planning on shooting it, and I would say, well, I'm just going to shoot it from the neck up, and we'll pretend that you dropped your towel. But Julie just, she's a free spirit, and she was into it. So, and in fact, that led to actually shooting the film, shooting that scene in the nude. But, you know, more than that, she was just the perfect person for the role. She's really feisty and fun, and a great actress, extremely experienced, a trooper. She actually needed a knee operation herself, which she postponed to do the film. And she was, you know, running around, climbing over fences like a Marine, and just was amazing. One time we strapped her to a tree and slit her throat in a nightmare that the son has, and she was game for whatever. So she was incredible. That, you know, couldn't have done it without her. And then the next key role was the part of the father, and I envisioned somebody somewhat like my father, which I would say was a Paul Newman type. Okay. And that's who my dad always reminded us of. And there aren't a lot of Paul Newman types that aren't already movie stars.
Yeah, hard to find.
So we really didn't find any of those. But a man had come in on the first day who I had really liked, charming man, big kind of country guy, you know, really Texan and really manly, and I just liked him. You know, he was smart. He'd done a lot of improv, which I like. In fact, I think everybody on the film, whether they were professional improvers, they were all really capable in that area. And so as the weeks went by, I kept seeing his face and just couldn't make that jibe with my dad's face until finally one day I just said, okay, I'm going with the best actor. Yeah. And I was really happy with that. His name's Mark Walters, very experienced actor that works on just about all the big movies that come through town. But this was his first lead, also his first indie film. Really? Yeah. And then there were the brothers were the next major parts. The older brother, who ended up being cast, we ended up casting a guy named Brian Massey, whose star is quickly rising. He just got killed by Nicolas Cage in New Orleans. That was a big job for him. Yeah. So we're expecting big things for him in the future. In fact, I see all the people that are in my movie as future superstars. You know, I think I got a cast better than what I would have gotten.
Well, and they're all so dynamic, you know, not just the characters that you wrote, but the way that they played them, the way they all meshed together. And you know, when you watch it, you're so, for me at least, like I was so impressed with that. Right. I was like, here you've got this dynamic group of people, but they all work really well together. No, there's not an awkward guy where you're like, well, what's he doing there? You know, was it that easy when you were filming it on set? Did it mesh? Did
well, I knew there was no weak link, and you know, and that wasn't by accident. I was married to a casting director. She's deceased, but for 20 years, she was casting a lot of the biggest films in Hollywood, and I was helping her usually in some cases, running camera, making lists, going out and meeting actors.